Ladies and gentlemen, as we get here today, we are ready to jump into the most important part of microeconomics, and we talk about market structures. Now, when we look at market structures, there is a huge spectrum of structures. At this end, we have something we call pure competition. At this end, we have a pure monopoly. And then in between, we have something called monopolistic competition and an oligopoly. Fun word to say right there. Okay, we are going to go over every one of these and do graphing and some other stuff dealing with them, understanding the characteristics and everything. But for our purposes, you have pure competition, and these other three are also called imperfect competition. Alright, and with these, we are going to discuss all the characteristics, all the graphs, and everything with it. On page 221, get that set up there. Page 221, chart 10.1 lists out all the characteristics of each of these. Alright, today we are going to focus only on pure competition to start. So, to start, let's talk about the characteristics of pure competition. It is very important that you understand these in order to move on. So, our first characteristic. There are a very large number of people selling this product. 2, they are selling a standardized product. Alright, kind of meaning they're near or perfect substitutes to each other. Think about peanut butter, steel, aluminum. These are all very standardized products. They are what they are. Alright. Probably the most important characteristic is number 3. We talk that is called a price taker. Right? Them being price takers, they have no control over the market price. The market sets the price. They can't do anything with it. They have to accept the price that is given to them. And finally, we have free entry and exit into the market. Right? There are no obstacles to get in. I mean, obviously you have some government regulations and stuff like that, but this is the economic world model where everything is as it is. Okay, so to start with, there's a couple different approaches to look at how pure competition works. There is the total revenue equal to total cost approach. Right? This is just one way to look at it. All right, it is one very simple graph. All right, so you have this, and you have your only two lines being drawn here. You have your total revenue and your total cost. All right, same thing. Now, there's 2 points that are important on this. You have the 2 points where they intersect with each other. These points are known as the break-even point, meaning they make as much as it costs them, right? But that's not the goal of a business. The goal of a business is to maximize profit. And if we're going to maximize profit, we need to be at the point where we are furthest away here. All of that would be your maximum profit, right? Matter of fact, all of this is profit, but the point in which you're furthest away is the profit. Now, you can still function if you are at the break-even point. You don't want to be losing money, obviously, but that is the one way we can look at it. But economists don't really like to look at it this way. They want to go into something much, much deeper. And that much, much deeper approach is the MC equals MR rule. All right, MC we've talked about before, marginal cost. MR, marginal revenue. Okay, so to understand this, we start with the features of the MR equals MC rule, or MC equals MR rule. First, all right, full units, meaning, all right, we cannot produce 5.5. We produce 5. You go by the last complete unit. 2, we assume we prefer to produce over shutting down. 3, this thing will this will apply to all market structures. So when we talk about monopolies, monopolistic competition, oligopolies, we apply this same rule. I will bring that up again later on. But the 4th feature is only in pure competition, and that feature is price is equal to your MC. All right? So price is where MC will meet up. Okay. So let's graphically look at this. So to start, we are going to have one graph. And this is your basic pure competition graph. Price and quantity, as always. Now, the one thing that we need to know is, because we are a price taker, our marginal revenue curve is perfectly horizontal. All right, perfectly elastic. And therefore, because it's perfectly elastic, marginal revenue is equal to demand, which is also equal to average revenue, which in this case is also equal to price, as you see right here. So I love to refer to this line as Mr. DARP. All right, so first thing you always need to do is draw out your Mr. DARP line. Then you have your marginal cost curve, which from a previous set of notes kind of looks like the Nike swoosh. All right, the price quantity combination that we will produce at as a firm, right, this is the individual firm, will be where MR equals MC. Okay, but now the important part is, are we making profit? Are we not making profit? Or what do we need to do in order to at least break even? All right, so this is your standard pure competition. One of the other, you have to add 2 other curves. You have your average total cost, and you have your average variable cost. Now, if you are a profitable company, your average total cost curve will be below where MR equals MC. All right, and then you'll connect it to there. This area that I am shading in all the way to here, this is your amount of profit. So if they just ask you to draw it out, there it is. They might give you different money numbers, so you have to, and you'll be able to solve it. Area of a rectangle. All right, it'll be very easy for you guys to do to show a profit. But as I said, not all firms make money. Sometimes there is a loss. So we do the same thing here all over again. We start with Mr. Darp. All right. We draw our marginal cost curve, and then we label our price quantity combination for the individual firm in whatever industry it is that we're talking about. Now, a loss will also include these curves. You have your average total cost curve, and then you also have your average variable cost curve. All right, you know this company is at a loss if the average total cost curve is above where MR equals MC. So you take that quantity up to there, and then you draw it on across, and this area is your loss. Now notice, average variable cost is below MR equals MC. This means you would still function in the market. It's very important. This means that you would not shut down. You would stay open for business. Now, businesses lose money, businesses make money. It all balances out at the end. Obviously, your goal is to profit, and you want this as small as possible, but you'd still prefer to remain open rather than shut it down, which is very, very important. All right, so what would that shutdown look like, where we would decide to shut down? So you draw it out for the firm. You have your Mr. Darp line. And you draw your marginal cost curve. And in this situation, your average, total cost and your average variable cost would be above where MR equals MC. And because you're not even covering your variable costs, you're losing all that money. That means you would want to shut down. You do not want to remain open in this situation. All right. On the previous video here, I also drew your average fixed cost curve. You could draw that in if you want, but you don't have to because it is there. That's your fixed cost between the two, just to remind everybody of everything. All right, your average fixed cost is always built in, but it's right there. So you do need to draw all four, Mr. Darp, MC, ATC, AVC, on every perfect competition or pure competition curve there is. So now I need to show you one more thing. One of the things that they like to do in microeconomics is something called side-by-side graphing. All right, you'll have two curves side by side. And that's why it's called side by side. I know, brain-busting activity there. So, your left-hand graph, this is the entire industry of a pure competition situation. Whatever that industry is, this is it. And you have two very simple curves that you have seen millions of times already: supply and demand. And in this situation, where you have your equilibrium point, that is the price quantity combination that the entire industry produces at. But me being my own business, I only truly care about my firm's situation. And because I only care about my firm's situation and it's pure competition, I will connect that across like that. Where your supply and demand break-even point or your equilibrium point meet, you connect that across. That is where Mr. DARP appears. And then after that, it's pretty much free draw. You draw your MC curve, and then the situation will say, are you profit or loss? Well, because we have this situation, we know this quantity here will be the amount that the firm contributes to the overall quantity of the industry. Now, if our firm is profitable or if our firm is taking a loss, it will tell you in the question. It makes it all very clear. But it will say you are at a profit situation, so we know this is your average total cost profit, and you'll have long run situation that will take place. You will end up in long run equilibrium. That is when you will have a shift in the curve. Now, obviously, we talked about all the determinants in play of supply and of demand. It will give you in the question which shifts, and then just for our purposes, we'll say supply shift. All right. This would be our new Mr. DARP line. And now I know it's poorly hand drawn, but where ATC meets the new Mr. DARP, all right, if ATC meets Mr. DARP, we are in long run equilibrium, meaning our average total costs are equal to our MR equals MC situation. All right, let me correct that. This is where it would meet. My fault for bad drawing. All right, this would be where it meets. Okay, so you'll find out where that is, and boom, you now have the side-by-side graph being drawn. Okay, so for this practice, you're going to have today, the remainder of the day, to work on activity 27, and then tomorrow and the next day you'll have work days in which you will practice this stuff, drawing it out and everything else. I'll even give you a practice FRQ involved with it. So, hope you guys understand that. If you have any questions, reach out to me. Watch this video. I will also link some Khan Academy videos on perfect competition. And to end today's class, we once again will do our cover song of the day. And I'm going to bring up a disco classic. All right, I Will Survive, originally done by Gloria Gaynor, done by the 90s alternative band Cake. I hope you enjoy it. It's fun. I will say it does swear once. It does change the lyrics a little bit, but it is one of the best versions of that song you will ever hear. So reach out to me if you have any questions, and we will talk in a few days. Enjoy!